Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Colin Ulrich.
This is Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, of course, today we're bringing you some more SDE Season 4 action from Division 1. On Ocean North, actually, we have ourselves a real ripper going to get set up here. Rang, who do we have and what are they bringing?
On the left-hand side in blue, we have ourselves JKW playing the Troph SS Panzer Division with a balanced income. And on the right-hand side, in the red, we have Vesely playing 7th Mechanized Corps with a balanced income.
So the kind of fun thing that we're starting to take a look at here is if you want to take a look over at JKWs, we're expecting basically a spam on spam kind of idea here, aren't we?
Yep.
A lot of P4s, a lot of Panthers, a lot of Tigers. What are we going to expect to see out of Vesely?
Same thing, a lot of T-34 76 spam in his deck, all the Strokies, lots of 45 mils, there's only dedicated anti-tank gun. But really, I mean, we were joking about it earlier before, how Vesely's deck is only 45 mils, no Zis 3s or Zis 2s, but it's what you really need in 1v1s.
Exactly. I mean, even with the heavy tanks that we're going to be seeing coming in the later stages of the 12th, they're still effective. Maybe not completely fantastic, but they're still bloody effective.
Yeah, they'd be scariest as only heavy AT Vesely will have all the ISUs, but they're pretty effective heavy AT, and also Vesely does have some good air power to call in, and we're seeing quite a bit of a pusher up north from Vesely using the T-34-76s very efficiently.
That's true. He's got to watch out for the Death's Head that's in the forest ahead of him there. I mean, those P-Grens, the fanatical stance against, we don't get to see that very often here. It's a very, very small number of divisions for that. But the T-34-76s from 42 and the Camarati right there definitely should be able to keep these P4s contained.
Yeah, really, in these CQC fights, I find that T-34-76s are the better choice. Not just necessarily because it's a better unit, but you get more availability out of them, and it's a pretty even one-on-one fight between P4s and 76s at close range, so... I mean, it's going to come down to veterancy in this case, as JKW does have the 2-star, and is proven to work rather well.
Yeah, I mean, he has lost. He's traded out evenly so far. In fact, no, he's a little bit ahead, but I don't think I really want to give enough love to that P4 against the Camarati.
Yep.
And really, the Camarati needs to stay alive. I mean, that's a better idea anyway.
Yeah.
You lost tank engagement. Exactly.
Yeah, so seeing the Strokey push through the forest and having a command tank is definitely helping out in keeping those Panther Grenadiers at bay. And yeah, it's a very good area for him to push. Full self-mechanized, fighting these CQC areas is really his best bet.
Well, the thing too is I'm sure you guys maybe have seen from the kind of earlier flash of the decks that we had showed on the screen. Don't expect a lot of airplay over here from the 12th SS. In fact, you're going to see a lot more anti-air being utilized here, and I'm wondering if you're trying to use that as a kind of the dual purpose against the infantry as well.
It'll definitely help out a bit, and also, you know, using the classic 88 anti-tank guns, and yeah, Vesely's making really good progress. I mean, he could start pushing into the northern town if he gets some infantry reinforcements, and that seems... No, he's bringing some infantry up north.
He's bringing infantry in, exactly, but I feel like JKW is massing appropriately.
Yeah.
The Camarati is down, so that's a very vital piece of that veterancy to keep them keep them active and play there. And P-Grens, are those P-Grens? I don't see any move orders. There we go.
Yeah.
I guess that's bad because, yeah, they're going to get pushed back.
So really heavy play up north on both sides. Just looking at the rest of the map real fast, it is... I mean, down south we're seeing a bit of a Tanko Destiny to keep us through the southern forest, and the central position, as usual, of Ocean North is pretty quiet, apart from a machine gun fight.
Yeah, that machine gun fight, that's just going to be attritional until he goes down.
Yeah.
And in fact, wait a second, I believe I hear some attrition on the air as we speak. Oh, I thought that, yep, the P-40's coming on in. Look to see this guy get wrecked pretty hard. Oh, wow. I always said the 12-7s are going to do more damage against the garrison, but I guess they kind of nerfed that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised by that too. It only has 2 less 50 cals compared to the deadly P-47, and that was a pretty anemic strafing run. Maybe he missed.
Now, quick thing up to the north. First things first, we actually have ourselves not so much a pack track, but it's that 251 Mark 9 that has just that beautiful, beautiful 75mm short barrel on it. But even more so than that, you were talking about the idea of Vesely maybe getting some more troops in there. But I don't think he's going to get there in time. These T-34s might be able to stem the bleeding going the other direction, but it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, yeah. And he is doing a very good job, JKWA is, of picking off his infantry one by one. And in this sort of engagement, the P4s do have a vet advantage. We're seeing quite a lot of people taking 2-star Panzer IVs, and I think that's a pretty good call, because you're not going to beat out in availability against those 76s, so you might as well try to get the quality. And it all comes down to those, early aim times in CQC, and having the 2-star can help out magnificently.
Certainly true. I'm watching this tank engagement here as they kind of forced to pull back and defilade. Definitely some potential here for some... Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But the important thing here, too, is that this is still a Soviet tank division, a tank division. And really when it comes right down to it, I can lose 3 or 4 tanks for every one of the P4s that I take out and still come out ahead.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw in the deck loadout earlier, there's 44 T-34 76s in C phase. Vesely's not going to worry about running out of tanks.
The funny thing is actually... I'm sorry, I was just going to watch the Strokey sprint across that open area and realize it's probably not the best thought.
You might be able to Strokey up north, get an anti-tank grenade on the Panzer IV.
Yes,
Lovely
yes.
flank, and that's going to maybe even things out here for Vesely. There we go.
And the Vesvedka!
Holy crap. When you don't have tanks, you use infantry, and that was a really good flank, yeah, as those Panzer IVs were definitely exposed.
Early Mobilwagen now up on the field. I think he's waiting to see that T-34-76 get picked off, and then at that point should be more than enough opportunity for him to slip that Mobilwagen forward. Maybe sit on the southern part of that hill, just to the west of that northernmost elevation.
Yeah. I also do want to point out, all the way down south, we have Rodevka and a very sneaky anti-tank opportunity. I don't think he is in range, or barely in range, to shoot stuff as it comes down the road, but that's a very good position nonetheless, just for the reconnaissance.
250? He might have it.
Oh yeah, I always keep thinking it's 200, but it is 250.
Unfortunately for him, though, he wasn't on hold fire,
Yeah.
and that Razvedka has just blown his greatest asset here.
Yeah, that was definitely a silly call. But yeah, spotted the Pike 40 at least, as we see, and maybe he's going to get some artillery or airplane love, which seems to be the case. He's going to be doing some blind strafing runs with some P40s.
And unfortunately for JKW, he might be more SOL here, and that's more the damage you're kind of expecting, but of course that was, 12-7s. Also, getting some motorbike 80 mils into the north. These guys are definitely going to contribute an awesome amount of firepower over here to kind of stabilize the area.
Yep. Never go wrong with mortars, Khan, as I keep saying in every goddamn replay.
Well, you got to stoke some fire someplace, and I think now, belatedly, yeah, there's a Mobilwagen rushing to the front, but I don't think he's going to get there in time.
Yeah. We got more.
Oh, wait, never mind. Actually, wait. With the movement after the blind strafe, I think we should be okay now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty even Steven so far, 8 minutes or so into A phase. JKW only losing by a 1 flag lead. And with both sides being balanced income, this could be a pretty neck-on-neck match so far.
It certainly seems that way. Now, looking to other areas, back down to the south, for example, the Strelki are getting through. And inside that forested area, how would you say it, Rang? It's going to be lovely jubbly for them?
Oh, it's going to be lovely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we do have this Panzer IV coming in, and maybe I can pick off the T-34 and... I don't know. Maybe the Strokies can get a good anti-tank grenade. It's pretty...
Nope.
Even Stevens. Nope. Panzer IV definitely bowed out. So yeah, this is going to be a southern success here for Vesely.
One thing that's kind of surprising me a little bit is... One, we're just getting the SPWs in, so I mean, definitely powerful, but not enough to kind of keep things at arm's length.
Yeah. And also just reviewing really any light vehicles against Soviets. They have a lot of anti-tank rifles, and using those light vehicles at close range is a very dangerous proposition, I would say.
By the way, Razvedka, learning from his mistakes, has got on hold fire back down to the south. He's moved back in.
There we go. might find a perfect opportunity soon as this 233 is barreling along the road.
But Focke-Wulf's coming in. We are to phase B, by the way, so look to see a little bit more of just T-34 spam, but first Tigers have the potential to come on out here.
Yeah, as well as a few Panthers in JKW's deck, but I don't think they're really going to help him out in this stage of the match, because on the far flanks, CQC fight, not the best full of tanks. 233 does go down to a good old bazooka shot. I feel like if JKW wants to get out the big catch, his best bet is to push center, and that would definitely be, I think, his best bet overall in this match, as fighting in a more open ground engagement with heavy armor would definitely benefit him. At the same time, Vesely has the 1-2-2s, and those things are pretty good at knocking out catch.
Yeah, definitely declawing the kitties pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check out to see where these mortars are dropping here to the north. Aiming for and doing decently well and kind of suppressing out that Pak 40.
Yeah.
But it is still 13-11, so I mean, as much as you want to kind of go and make comments that things are completely out of control, 14-10 now, but I imagine we're seeing a lot more light vehicles being rushed on in, the T-31s, more Panzer Grenadiers, with the Fanatical. I believe the Fanatical trait's still on all of them.
All of them are Fanatic. But yeah, we've just seen Vesely capture a bunch of flags in rapid succession. So he's at the 16-8 already, so he is doing really good. The P-40s are coming and being an absolute nuisance, so it's definitely going to force JKW, I think, to get a bit more anti-air. And I feel like JK can still, recapture these flags that he's lost. It's not a major offensive as capture gems, just a few infantry here and there, but he is still not in a very good position.
Let's call it like it is, too. You still need 2 or 3 to 1 odds to push back any kind of determined defenders, especially in the forest. That green cover is still really tasty.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we're getting another reinforcement push of infantry to the south, more Strokey, more Machiki, and even Vuzvud with the UPR coming in and to kind of give a little bit of backbone to him.
Yeah. Yeah, we're seeing some mortar half-tracks up north here from JKW. Very good call. I mean, the corrected shot bonus as well as mortars just go hand in hand in forest fights such as this, and JK is making a little bit of leeway up north with his Panzer Grenadier push.
Push seems a little bit optimistic here, but I will give you... Yeah, maybe an idle thought. He's starting to sashay his way forwards here.
A lovely walk through Belarusia. Bit of a
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fascinated to watch how the defense goes down here to the south because the Soviets are in play and the SPWs are charging for some god-awful reason. Recon optics do not give you thicker armor, my friend.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous proposition, and I mean he has the Panzer Grenadiers behind him, but they're not. Yeah, there they go. They're finally moving. Even then, just moving the 2-5 runs into the forest first, just to be, recon by force of getting blown up by anti-tank rifle and knowing, hey, there's an anti-tank squad in there, is usually a pretty decent array. That's what really half tracks are useful for.
We are seeing JKW kind of employing the NOAA offense. He's got 2 P-Grens, he's got 2 half-tracks, he's got 2 SPWs, he's got 2 P4s coming up now, so 2 by 2, they're going to come up and get shot. So maybe it's Noah's hunting expedition, but either way, it's going to be a very, very deadly moment here. We're going to see the first parts of this as the Stokies come into skirmish, and the Ultimate Cheekies coming into close support, so this is going to get ugly real fast.
Yeah, this could really go either way. I mean, that T-34 is coming in hot, and it is a pretty scary vehicle, but it's also an autocannon at point-blank range. Never mind. Autocannon does not work.
Tank beats autocannon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the T-34-42, so they got that 90mm of armor compared to the 75 of the 43s, which is a pretty big difference, especially against autocannon vehicles.
Oh my god, the Strokies are just like chucking this.
Oh no!
JKW's being a little bit haphazard with his offensive here.
Yeah, and they really cannot afford to be losing Panther 4s like that.
Nah, it's the 12th you can't. I mean, we've talked about the idea of P4 spam, but they're too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, he is taking them into the veterancy, so I mean, with the availability, just looking at his deck real fast, like he only gets 6 per card with 2 cell veterancy in B phase, which It's not ideal compared to the T-34s where you get both of them with 1-star vet, so yeah. You do not have numbers with those Panzer IVs, you cannot lose them.
Sorry, I was watching as this mobile wagon is potentially just damaging these guys for a bit, but he's just kind of really just scaring the P-40s. Alright, returning back down to the south. The armored vehicle's been destroyed. Infantry being picked off. It was 13-11, now it's back to 14-10. That can't be as a help but feel that's going to be a 15-9.
Oh,
yep, there we go.
the
Maybe
numbers
even a
just keep
16-8.
changing.
Well, because the north is that one open post here right on the edge of that complex.
Mm-hmm.
And with a bunch more Strokies coming on in, I mean, I hesitate to say that the 12th is really too terrible, but you have to be very precise in how you apply your troops.
Yeah, I feel like JKW's kind of fallen into the classic tunnel vision of only putting the flanks on this map and ignoring the center, because the way his division's built would definitely benefit a more central push in the open, because playing CQC against Russian mechanized infantry divisions with Strokey spam and T-34-76 spam, you can't. You just cannot out-attrition that many troops.
Nope.
Your half tracks are useless because they just get anti-tank rifled at close range. Your Panzer IVs are losing 1-to-1 odds against T-34-76s, and they don't have the attrition. It's a pretty fatal mistake.
Well, and the funny thing too is that you can even utilize the light vehicles for their recon if you bring a couple P4s first and then stick the recon unit behind. It's going to auto default to the most closest unit unless there's a hard selection on recon.
Yeah.
I do have a Verbovin on the map, which, don't get me wrong, I think is one of the most one of the most rare things we tend to see.
Mm-hmm.
But I have such a sweet spot for him.
Dude, I've seen those things kill goddamn T-34s. Like,
yeah.
I played matches where I'd move a T-34-76 through a forest. On the other end of it is a Verbelwind. And then some reason I don't have a T-34 anymore. I don't really get what happens.
Actually, the Verbelwind deploys little gremlins, and the gremlins actually take out your T-34. That's the only thing that really happens.
Of course, that must be it.
We're getting a crazy investment of light vehicles down into the forest again.
Mm-hmm. A lot of armored forces, of course, for him being a Panzer division and all, but the moment he moves those light vehicles any more further down south, they are gonna fall into some nasty fire. Already, as they've got a 45mm anti-tank gun in perfect position.
Yeah, but the 45mm was trying to engage 7 different vehicles with one gun, and I don't care how good you are, you ain't the Waco kid. So.
Yeah, he would definitely need 7 guns in that engagement. There we go, we are seeing the push here. This might...
No, this is 30 Corps going to Arnhem, please. Let's not think too much about this.
Yeah, there's a lot of anti-tank grenades in the forest nearby, and maybe that T-34, the lone T-34.
Yeah, he'll hold up the advance for a little bit. He's going to die in a second or two, but he doesn't
No
need to actually do
KV-1.
much. He's a KV-1 if a KV-1 had thinner skin and needed to talk to his dad first. There we go.
And blown up. There we go. Yeah, the 2-3 runs up north kind of fallen into a deadly trap of airplane bombs and anti-tank grenades.
Well, and now here we go. We have the entire armored spearheads cut off.
Yep.
So Razvedkas are going to come in. We're going to see the Strokey move down here to the south in a second. I was waiting for that bomber. There was a bomber up to the north of PE3, I think, that just dropped its load to the north.
Reinforced with Africa to come in. I can see he's eyeing up that Panzer IV.
Yes, he is, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Shots up. Ooh.
Come on.
That you hate to see that though.
Yeah, he only has 1 rocket left, so he's really gonna make it count.
Well, taking a quick look here to the north, Russian infantry slicing in towards that town, and as the kind of standard MG42s being there as a backstop, trying to hold things down, but it's still 17-7.
Yeah. And down south we are seeing the Panzer Grenadier platoon come in to try and shore things up. Yeah, he's moving all of them, it seems, to just like clear the southern forest, which makes sense, but he really needs to get a few Panzer Grenadiers overtray his armored pushes right now just to give him some goddamn infantry support because he is. I mean, he has recon units, yeah, but he really is pushing him blind.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I suppose we are seeing the truism that quantity has a quality all of its own. This is just bizarre for me to see. And there's that PE3. No, it's a P40. Okay, dude, you have a number of opportunities here. I would not be delivering more infantry to the north. I'd be delivering anti-tanks and tanks to the south.
Yeah. Well, JKW is definitely delivering all of autocannon half-tracks up north. Seems like he's only trying to do somewhere. Mind you, with the SD-44 autocannon half-track rush, you'd see.
Well, that's the thing I'm kind of wondering about here, is that we're just going to have the L6 push.
Yeah.
There we go. At long last, the PE2 comes on in. Might be a smidge too late. I think the biggest opportunity has already been passed up, but he's going to force 3 vehicles back.
Oh, the T-34 in the forest. He's in the perfect sneaky spot down south here to shoot these retreating Germans. This is perfect.
Well, he's there, but there's also the Focke-Wulf coming on in. Oh, okay, so P-40s are still in the area too. Okay.
Yeah. That was a pretty clutch position for that T-34. That's going to finish off that entire armored force.
Oof. I'm going to go watch the half-track push, or the light track push.
Oh, is he going to do it through the town? He's going to do it through the town.
And he's going to do it through the forest too, so... I mean, one of these is going down to a Strelki. Maybe 2... I don't know, I'm waffling back and forth because they have such recon optics, it's fantastic. But their skin is so thin.
Yeah. We've got an anti-tank rifle. I mean, the Strelki DP in the northern town is... Ah, see, never mind. They're just getting completely slacked on by the autocannons.
And the other... This is so weird. Like, I feel like things should be going the absolute opposite direction.
Yeah, none of them have died yet. Which... Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well, it doesn't help the tank with the Niki that it's like, oh, we no longer have any way to even remotely hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
So... But it is still 15-9, so... Vesely can just sacrifice bodies for time pretty consistently. Ooh, to the north, though, we do have 2 T-34s that are engaging those 250 Mark 9s.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of that, you know, all Vesely has to do is hold, you're entirely correct. And in terms of the attritional warfare, Vesely has a lot of bodies he can throw into the fray to keep things at bay.
I just want to make sure you said bodies and not buddies, because I'm pretty sure no one in that attack division is feeling particularly close to the commander right now.
Mm-hmm. You call me a body buddy?
Yeah, you're the first guy I want to have around me when the bullets start flying. P-40's coming in? No, PE2. Trying to stress out that northernmost P-Gren. So yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that the Germans have to make a breakout, and they have to do it now.
And yeah, down south we're seeing more... Yeah, I think this is really coming down to just the misplay of armoured forces here for JKW. Like, we haven't seen anything in the centre here, and that would have been much more beneficial for him, as even just the Panzer Grenadiers and half-tracks work much better at long range rather than fighting through these deadly forests. JKW has managed to get a foothold down south, but he's lost a lot of units to do that, and there's already a counterpush of a bunch of T-34s and a 122.
Well, and the Automachiki's going to pound on everything that comes to the forest. That P-Gren, I don't care, I'm sorry. P-Grens are good. Automachikis with 10 PP shots, much better.
Yeah.
And you can see right now, he's lost nobody and has carved this squad to pieces. There we go, the final first casualty. But that's the way of the world. I mean, that's kind of the major issue right now. 122 is asserting his dominance. Back to the north. Are we getting more half-tracks? No, we get P-Grens moving on in. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, T-34 is just coming in, blazing down south, and... Yeah, with the 122 support, there's just nothing JKW can do. I mean, he's got Panther Force here, but they're not really going to fare well against the 122, as well as all the other armoured support. We got the infantry coming up north with the PZ Grens, and yeah, it's just coming down
Indeed.
to classic T-34 spam here for the Russians. Just this match where Strokey / 3476 spam works extremely well.
Well, I guess the other problem here, to a certain extent, too, is that for the anti-tank guns, we're placed in very, very passive positions from JKW. Of course, I'm saying that having God view, so it's not really perhaps totally fair. But very passive positioning, and I think that's really kind of come back to bite him in the backside, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Mobile Wagon being brave, pulled off the advancing Soviets, but I don't think this is going to last any other way than we know how it's going to.
Yeah, it's only
Yep.
30 odd seconds left for JKW to survive, and I don't feel like he's gonna be coming back from this anytime soon. I mean, look up north, 34 spam has managed to make a breakthrough, but a lot of them did just get suppressed.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but depressed, oppressed, however kind of pressed you want to be talking about here, there's still a flipping lot of them, and
Yeah.
we're only to phase C now. And may I remind you again, there's still 22 that he could be brought in just C phase alone.
Per card.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it's ridiculous, like, how many you can get. I mean, they're not the best tanks, of course, mind you. They're barely a medium tank, but in a forest fight, it doesn't matter if you're barely a medium tank. You're a medium tank nonetheless.
That's absolutely right. And kind of looking over here at the kills, a couple of short, standouts here. Ayablonsky, for example, at T-3476 with several ground kills. Other than that, though, I mean, just the misapplication early on of that armored force.
Yeah, he should have pushed center when instead he fought over the flanks, and yeah, it's just it will cost you on a map like that. That's kind of a problem with a lot of the German Panzer divisions is you can't fight CQC attrition at all. You have to fight more open ground and use your Panzer Grenadiers there and your big heavy cats to, shoot stuff at long range where you have the armor and AT advantage.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, when all is said and done, though, it's kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
We expected 12th SS has to have the open field, and you got to play to that strength. 7th, you can just throw bodies and just pray that you win, and that kind of definitely happened here.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts, though, sir?
I'm very happy that Vesely has a Deathcore Krieg profile icon. I entirely approve.
Well, he definitely plays like the Deathcore Krieg, so...
Really, he did. Just all the tanks, all the infantry. They died for the Emperor. I mean,
You mean Comrade Stalin?
Yes, of course.
Well, folks, with that in mind, then please, there's going to be some more SD2 action over here on Thursday, of course. I'm not sure which division we're taking a look at. I think we're going to see another Ort game. But either way, of course, you don't want to miss it. So, until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.